here with Joe Dekreon. He's a U.S. Army chaplain. Joe, thanks for joining me today. We're talking about the war on God in America. Now, Joe, can you tell me about your thoughts about the video that you saw?
I felt irritated because I do understand how secular progressivism is very much alive and well in the country, and would very much like to see a much more godless society, if I could even say that, if that's even possible. But on the other hand, I'm saying, should we even be surprised that people are doing this?
Joe, do you think taking God out of America will have future consequences on our society and way of life?
Yes and no. I think God honors those of us, and God blesses those of us who seek after Him. Do I think our future will be hindered because we have political leaders who do not care about worshiping God? I've got mixed feelings, because ultimately I come back to one central theme, and that God is sovereign, and that man cannot hinder or mess up God's plans. God isn't sitting up in heaven thinking, oh, great, they elected a Mormon as president. Well, Gabriel, come here, I need the master plan. We're going to have to rewrite everything. God is sovereign, and He governs all things, and He will do whatever He wishes to do, regardless of if people make and take away from our Judeo-Christian traditions and origins that many of the founders brought in into the Declaration of the Constitution. Regardless of all those things and people wanting to make God an afterthought in this society that we live in, I would say, good luck. Because ultimately, all governments are established by God, all authorities are established by God. Paul's very clear about that in Romans. And I think that the real issue for Christians is, in the wake of, I guess you may or may not use the term persecution, is trusting God.
Joe, do you think taking God out of America will affect our children and the way our children grow up and what they do?
I think, going directly to the video, the Wall Builders video, I think the quote-unquote persecution, the removing God from America, the things that they brought up in the video were little things, were just drops in a bucket, Alicia. Do I think it's a foreshadowing of things to come? Yeah, I do. But I would also remind believers that for the Christians in the West, we do not understand what persecution is. I do not understand what persecution is because I have not experienced that. Our Christian brothers and sisters around the world in hostile countries, they have. We haven't. This is a drop in the bucket. This is a foreshadowing of things to come. I fully believe that. I don't think it's going to get better. I don't think we're going to evolve into a more Christian society like the one that founded the country in the 18th century. I don't think we're there. I don't think we ever will go back to that point.
In 5 to 10 years, where do you see America? Do you think it'll be a disaster, or do you think that we'll still continue on with life, even taking God out of America?
I mean, that's just sheer speculation on my part, which there's definitely evidence of a trend. I think every decade, the Western society in which we live in becomes more godless. Will we be more godless 10 years from now? More corrupt and evil than we are today? Yeah, we probably will, based on statistical trends.
Joe, do you think it's important to call your senators and tell them that you want to put God back into the museum that the video had talked about?
Yes, I think it is. I think it takes very little effort to call and to talk to your elected leaders and officials. It's important to do that. Just because God is sovereign, just because God calls the shots and God governs all events, it doesn't negate man's responsibility. There's nothing wrong with making a phone call. There's nothing wrong with writing your elected officials. There's nothing wrong with going out and voting your beliefs. And in fact, not only is there nothing wrong with those things, but I think they should be encouraged.
Well, thank you so much, Joe Dekreon, and we wish you the best of luck as you go off into the Army and as God leads you where He does.
Thank you, Alicia.